Hmm. Well, that's bad timing. Hmm. Hey, welcome back.
Sorry for that. I didn't mean to. It's just my computer. I don't know.
No worries.
Well, have you heard about my lunch dish before
No,
I break up? No.
no, I
So
didn't.
I was telling you while my computer froze. So it was a piece of fried turkey and rice with beans.
Okay. Yeah, nice. Just interesting. I like asking about what people have for lunch because, um, just like from people from different parts of the world eat like really highly different things, and so it's kind of um, just like a
Really, they're really
yeah.
so different.
I mean, just like people obviously. I mean, like rice and beans is really like a Latin thing. You don't see it too much in Europe or in like places like Russia. Um, I guess just like little things like that. I don't know. It's kind of cool. So it's interesting. Um, yeah. Do you have any plans for
Well,
the rest?
thanks for asking anyway.
Yeah. Sorry you were uncomfortable with the question. Um, do you have any plans for the rest of the week?
Um, well, not really. Just do the same to do the same.
Okay. All right. And Ken, welcome to class. How's it going, Ken?
Yes, I'm fine. How are you?
Doing well, thanks. Um, and what have you been up today? What have you been up to today?
Mm, Uh, it was rainy today, so mainly I stay in the home and reading books or barbering class or some other activities which I have to do. Yeah.
Okay. What have you been reading?
Today I'm reading about the doctor's how can I say guidebook of the life or something like that. A little bit spiritual thing, but he's a real doctor, uh, medical doctor.
Okay.
Mhm,
Interesting. Um, yeah,
mhm,
cool.
yeah. So
And Yeah, I guess it
I,
sounds like a good
I
thing.
also rent uh, American food, the history about American food from the library. Yeah.
What is the history of American food?
The like hamburger or hot dog or maybe that's kind of that or because American food is a lot of immigrants came to America these
Hmm.
several hundred years, so maybe such kind of history probably how the immigrants bring the new food or the mixed in the local food or maybe such kind of thing, yeah, kind of documentary.
Okay, nice. That sounds it sounds kind of cool. Really interesting, kind of almost like a history of
Yes.
immigration in the U.S. Um, all right. And I guess it might just be the three of us for now. Let's get started with the class. Anna, can you read the title and the next lines?
Today we will read in quotations practice verb can uh, help me.
Ken, can you help her?
Reading.
Just read.
Yeah. What's the word after verb?
Conjugations, I guess. Conjugations.
Hmm. Can you
Okay.
repeat that, Andy? Conjugations.
Conjugations.
Good.
Practice role play and read comics.
Okay. Nice. And Anna, can you ask Ken the first question?
What is one of your favorite books? Why do you like it?
One of my favorite books. I read the one book, power back book called English title would be The Earth.
Called what?
The Earth. Earth.
The Earth?
Yeah, The Earth. Yes.
Okay. What was it
I
about?
it was about how can I say liver drama of three generation in China. And Paul Berkeley was born in China and grew up there, so he knows Chinese history at that time. And since it is a river drama, three generations life is kind of dramatical to me. So I read that novel three times probably.
Wow. Was it The Good Earth?
Yeah, good as yes, that's it. Yes,
Okay.
that's the
Nice.
English title. Yes.
Um, yeah, I read that one in high school. This
Oh,
is
really?
yeah, it's an intense book.
Yes.
Okay. And nice. What did you like about it? Well, what did you like about it the
Mm.
most?
The in the history book, I just know the Chinese history, what happened in China at that time, colonization kind of thing, very free. But in that book, so it's I know what was happening in China, and yeah, maybe such kind of historical thing. Plus, it's a human drama as well. How humans' life, human became rich from a poor farmer to rich, and then his life changed. And second generation, want to do a different thing.
Hmm.
Maybe such kind of a drama, life drama is also interesting.
Yeah, it is. Those are always really interesting. Anum, welcome to class. Anum, how's it going? Anum? All right. Ken, can you ask Anna the next question?
Okay, and how important is the cover of the book?
I think it's very important. It's a part of the book itself, and what is on the cover. It should. Um, oh, I don't know what else to say. Well, of course it's important.
Okay, so of course it's important. I mean, but how important is it? I mean, can a cover ruin a book? Can it make a book? Will
It
it?
could attract or the opposite, the
How?
reader. Well, if I don't like the cover, it most likely I won't buy the book.
Huh?
Well, of course, not always it works like that. If I knew for sure that the book is interesting, then I'll just pick a book with a certain cover that I personally like, and in my opinion is more suitable for that book.
Okay. So if there's like an option of different covers, I'll just pick a cover that I like.
Yeah,
Okay.
I come across with this issue of covers, and I often there are several covers, and you can
Yeah, you can pick the
choose
one that
the
you like the
one you
best.
like. Yeah.
Okay, good. Um, all right. And Anum, are you there? Still nothing. Okay. And Anna, can you ask Ken the next question?
Do you enjoy watching movies that came from books? Why or why not?
Yes, I usually enjoy watching movies that came from book or nowadays I don't read books so much so I just watch the movie. But for some novel, reading novel, original novel is better than movies. For example, Da Vinci Code. Maybe if I don't read the Da Vinci Code beforehand, uh, before watching, before I watched the film, maybe I couldn't understand what some detail of what is going on in the film.
Okay, we would
Mm.
change that a little bit. If I didn't read the
I
book
didn't.
before I watched the movie, I wouldn't have
I
been
wouldn't.
able.
Okay, I wouldn't have been able.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so just slightly different. If I didn't read the book, I wouldn't have been able to understand what was happening.
Hmm.
All right, nice.
Hmm.
And Anna, what about you? What's your favorite book? What's one of your favorite books?
Mm, well, the one is definitely Atlas Rock, but I've got also also one of my favorite War and Peace.
This was War and Peace. Okay, so really big books.
Yeah, they
What,
are.
yeah. What did you like about War and Peace? What was your favorite part about War and Peace?
Well, um, the best thing about that book was that author touched um, almost every area of our lives, and there was a tremendous wisdom there, and it was really interesting to read about his views on such a versatile areas of life.
Maybe instead of versatile and such disparate
Disparate,
areas of life.
probably. Well, the first thing that
But disparate is like
came to me,
varied.
I thought about different, but different doesn't. Disparate,
Yeah,
great, thank you.
disparate is like really different. Um, okay, nice. And let's go and read through these. So, and if you ever do come back, just write in the chat box and we can get to you. Um, I don't know if you can hear us, but Ken, can you read through the words?
Okay. Vocabulary, metaphor, allusion, connotation, euphemism, hyperbole, hyperbole, oxymoron, personification, anecdote, paradox.
Nice. Hyperbole is a little bit different. Hyperbole.
Hyperbole,
Hyperbole.
hyperbole,
And personification.
personification,
Person. Maybe son.
person,
Personification.
personification.
There you go. Nice. And questions here.
What is hyperbole?
Hyperbole.
Hyperbole.
And Anna, do you know?
It's like you're describing things in a more like in a multiplied, you know, like
Exaggerated?
exaggerated, exactly.
Yeah. So when you describe things heightened way in an exaggerated way. Um, so yeah, hyperbole is just like exaggeration. Nice job, Anna. Any other questions?
Oxymoron.
Oxymoron. Anna?
Well, it's when you combine two words and they are opposite to each other, like, I don't know, uh, um, well, I don't have an example.
Think about like temperature.
Temperature. Uh-huh.
That's an easy like oxymoron.
Well, I get it. Yeah, I'm thinking, oh, like, probably you could give me a, well, if I'm thinking about
Okay,
hot,
so
hot,
mhm.
then it can be, don't know.
So like something we could be like icy hot.
Could
It's a
it be
brand. Icy hot. Um, loud silence.
loud silence? Yeah.
So yeah, ooh, loud. So if we have like an adjective and a noun, are really easy. So icy heat, loud silence. Yeah, things like that. Those are good oxymorons. Any other questions? Okay, let's go on. Let's
And
practice some.
there's again a mistake in the word euphemism.
Oh yeah, always, always. That's embarrassing. Thank you. Um, and can we go and let's have Ken. Can you try the first one?
Okay, I say this without blanks scoundrel. You to suffer a million plagues from this crime. Ironic. I say this without. What is scoundrel?
Scoundrel is it's kind of a bad name for somebody. It's like somebody who is not, well brought up or well raised. If you're
I
looked down
see.
on somebody, yeah, it's an
Uh-huh.
insult.
Uh, without. Mm, uh, without. Euphonism is different. Adduction.
Is it possible for somebody to suffer a million plagues? A million plagues?
No, it's impossible.
Yeah, that's a lot, right? A million?
Yeah, it
What would be like a normal amount?
no normal amount
Yeah.
is maybe one or two or within 10.
Yeah, exactly. And so what happens if we take something that should be like one or two or even 10 and make it a million? What do we do?
Exaggerate. That
Uh-huh.
means hyperbole.
Hy-
Hyperbole.
Hyperbole. Hyperbole.
Hyperbole.
Mm,
You um,
can you repeat hyperbole?
hyperbole. Okay, hyperbole.
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 Uh-huh. Hyperbole.
Hyperbole. Hyperbole second row. You are suffering from. You are suffer from. No, you suffer from.
So we've got maybe a timeline, and so we've got the scoundrel doing something really bad here. So we've got
Mhm,
scoundrel committing crime,
mhm,
and then right after the person finds out and says this curse, I guess you could call
mhm,
it,
mhm.
and then the curse is supposed to take place somewhere here. This is the present tense,
Okay,
and this is the
sounds
past
like
tense.
a kind of committing.
Nebulous future.
If I say this without hyper secondary, you have suffered. You have.
If he had suffered, it would be in the past.
Hmm.
But generally, if somebody does something bad, you're like, I don't want you to suffer in the past. I want you to suffer in the future. I want this suffering to be coming up,
You
upcoming.
will. That means you
Yeah,
will have suffered, or you will suffer
yeah, you will
from
suffer.
suffer. Okay.
And so this is ironic because he's saying it without hyperbole, but it's obviously hyperbolic.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Giulietta, welcome to class. How's it going?
Hi, it is going well, thanks.
Nice. Good to see you. And welcome to class. Annam, your microphone was recently unmuted. There was a lot of noise coming from your microphone, though. Can you unmute your microphone one more time, Annam? Nope. All right. Anna, can you try the next one?
Um, the metaphor he used to describe his true love left her crying.
Nice. Good job. What kind of metaphor would that be?
Um, Probably some. Well, it depends why she
Yeah,
cried, from anger or from happiness.
for sure. It's a little bit ambivalent. Good. Ambiguous. Really nice job. And Giulietta, what about the next one?
Night he was telling us an anecdote about his father, but in the end he couldn't remember why.
Nice. And Ken, what about the next one?
Giuseppe is so annoying. He always make a blank about this incredible intelligence. He always make personified.
Not personified.
Make allusions.
So if I were Giuseppe, Giuseppe might say something like, "Oh man, if I weren't so smart, I probably wouldn't know the answer. Or I probably wouldn't have gone to that great college." So I love knowing all the answers on Jeopardy.
An anecdote.
It's close to anecdote. It's not quite. He's I don't know how.
Connotation.
Not connotation. Can anybody give him a hint? Does anybody know any better hints than I gave?
Reference.
Well, yeah. Yeah. So it's like a reference.
Difference.
Synonym.
Difference, maybe allusion.
Yeah. He always
Okay.
makes allusions.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Don't be sorry. And how do we change make?
Always, he always make allusion. Makes allusions.
Yeah. Good. And okay, Giuseppe.
Giuseppe. Is it a
Sorry,
Spanish or Italian?
I think it's Italian. Giuseppe what?
Giuseppe.
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 Okay.
Giuseppe.
Perfect.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know. What about the next one?
He personified the wind in his novel. He said, should be rage. What's raged to?
Rage is like to be really
No,
angry.
I know what rage means. I meant why it's raged instead of rage.
Oh. Typo.
He said the wind is raging against the house before it blew it over.
Okay. Blew it over.
Raged. He said the wind had raged against the house before it has blown. No. Well, then wind raged.
Okay. You could use the simple past. The wind raged against the house. I was thinking we could use the past progressive. How'd that sound?
I don't know whether past progressive, but like I'm not
So the
really good at names of tense.
okay. Past progressive. What's the present progressive? Do you know the present progressive? That's like the right now. No. And so we have the verb to be plus the verb with ing.
Mhm.
With the past progressive, it's the same thing. It's just the
It
verb
was
to be in the
raging
past.
then. Was
Yeah,
raging.
exactly. Was raging. Good. And I think that sounds great. Really nice job. Thanks for all the corrections, Anna. Um, yeah, thank you.
My
And any other
pleasure.
questions here? Okay. Um, we could read through this. Julieta, can you read the role of Calvin? And Ken, can you read the role of the mom?
I read this library book. Me.
What did you think of it?
It really made me see things differently. It's given me a lot of to think about.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
It's complicating my life. Don't get me anymore.
Yeah, good. Anna, what's happening here?
Well, the kid, um, he didn't really like. He didn't really like uh, this book because it was too complicated for him.
Hmm, not quite. Too complicated for him. Uh, maybe Julieta, can you add anything to that?
Yes, he doesn't want to think about things, so uh, he just don't want to read it anymore.
You
Oh, I
don't want to read?
know. The book made
Doesn't.
made
Yeah.
things for him complicated.
Yeah. The book made things complicated for him. Things complicated for him. Okay. And so I guess why is it funny? Ken, can you explain like the humor in the joke? Like the
Yeah,
hmm
mhm. Maybe the mother glad Kevin grew up and he can get a lot of different perspective or different points of view. But Calvin just said it's not necessary. I want simplified life or thinking pattern or something like that.
Yeah. So what he says in the second square, um, it really made me see things differently. It's given me a
Mhm.
lot to think about. That's like generally why people like books because,
Yeah,
it changes your perspective, gives you things to think about. And that's like exactly what Calvin doesn't like. He's like, I just like knowing what I know and
yeah.
going through life like that. And so the mom is immediately like, oh, wow, cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it. But, that's exactly what he didn't like about the book. Good. And I think we're all set here. Really nice job, everybody. Any questions on the page? Okay. Uh, well, what happened? Let's look at some idioms. Anna, can you read through the idioms?
A bookworm hid the books. One for the books. An open book.
Good. And do you know any of these, Anna?
Um, yes. Bookworm is a person who likes to read a lot and who spend the whole time reading.
Who spend their whole time reading?
Uh-huh. Their whole time reading.
We need to change this.
Spend.
And
Who's spending? Who's spending?
we would
No.
actually use the present tense. We would just use the present tense with the S. Because it's a
Um,
general or habitual action, so we'd use the present tense.
oh, and the verb, it's not a, it's a usual verb. Spend, I thought it was spend, spent, spent.
Yeah. So regular person who spends um instead of their whole time reading, we would change it a little bit. We would say starts with an A, this word.
Sorry?
So instead of their whole time, we would say their time reading. So what word would we put here? Can you think of anything, Anna?
No.
Anybody else have any ideas what word we'd use? Okay. All. Person who spends all their time reading. Can you read that one more time, Anna?
A person who likes to read a lot and who spends all their time reading.
Nice. Okay. Giulietta, what about you? Can you explain any of the remaining idioms?
An open book.
Okay, what's an open book?
An open book is a person who is not so private.
Okay. Can you, I mean, that's definitely correct. It's not so private. What do you mean by that?
Uh, Someone who um, mm, mm, can easily talks about everything about them.
About themselves? We'd use that
Themselves.
reflexive. Okay, someone who can talk about everything about themselves. We'd also say someone who can't lie well.
Mm.
So his face was like an open book. Open book. So it was like really obvious. It was really easy to read. I could tell what he was thinking, even though he wasn't saying it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Good though. It could be somebody who talks about themselves a lot as well. Um, yeah. Ken, another one of these?
Okay, hit the books.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's to study very hard or something.
Yeah, to hit the books is to study. To like, or to go begin studying.
Mhm.
Yeah. How'd you use it in a sentence, Ken?
Nowadays, people study on computer. Sometimes they skip hitting the books.
Okay. That's actually a really strange sentence.
Yeah,
Um,
okay, okay.
no, I mean it's good. I just y because hit the books literally means study. It doesn't. The
Yeah.
connotation is a little bit different, and it works because people don't literally hit the books anymore. But
Hmm.
also that's still kind of hitting the books. I don't know. I like it. It's a good sentence. Really
Uh,
good grammar too.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, it's just a little bit strange, but I like the strangeness of it. Um, Anna, what about the last one?
No, I don't know what that means.
Okay. Julieta, do you know what it means?
No, I don't.
Ken?
Maybe extraordinary.
Uh-huh. Extraordinary.
Extra,
Extraordinary.
extraordinarily.
Extraordinary.
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 Extraordinary. Extraordinary.
Extraordinary. Extraordinary.
Extraordinary.
Good. Nice. Extraordinary. So something that is one for the books is something that is extraordinary. Can you use it in a sentence, Ken?
Mm, John Lennon has this extra, not excellent. John Lennon's song are one for the books.
John Lennon's song?
Songs, songs are
Hmm.
no.
Because, oh, I mean, something that is one for the books would have to be singular because it's one.
Ah, okay,
I mean,
okay.
yeah,
Uh,
because
Mother,
To choose
John
one
Lennon.
song.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah. John Lennon's song "Mother" is one for the books.
yeah, one for the books. If you want to talk about all his songs, John Lennon's career is one
Ah,
for the
okay.
books. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so the history books is what it's referring to.
Mhm.
Yeah, and all of those are relatively common idioms. Any questions here? Okay, well done. Okay, I'm wondering about quotations. We could do a little role play. There's another comic. We could do a paradox. Maybe let's do a little bit of questions first, or let's do some questions. Can you ask Anna the first question?
Okay, Anna, what factors are important to you when you're choosing a book to read?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Mhm.
Well, like, what draws you to a book? Do you have a specific genre? Are you only
Well,
attracted?
well, if I liked a book of a certain author, then I probably will read a couple of other books of his or hers.
Hmm.
And like, if talking about some random factors, I don't really know. Probably if I heard about that book somewhere in trustworthy sources or from a person who I respect or admire, then probably I will read that book.
Probably I will read that book. I will probably read that book. Read that book. Okay. Yeah, those are all good. Um, and Anna, can you ask Julia to the next question?
Are there any writing styles you especially like or dislike? Explain.
I don't think there is a specific writing style I like. A book that I didn't really like was a book about two people that they were in love,
Who were
and
in
it
love?
was, yeah, who were in
And what?
love. And
Sorry.
what?
So a book that I didn't really like was a book about two people who were in love and
It was so boring.
okay, it sounds like a really boring book. What was it about besides them being in love?
What? Sorry? Can you say that again?
Yeah, what was it about besides them being in love? So like other than their love, what did the book
Mhm.
deal with?
The book talks about how he was, how he, uh, his pleasure to wait there for all his life.
His pleasure in waiting for her all his life?
Yeah.
Huh. Waiting for her all his life. It sounds a little bit like Love in the Time of Cholera is. What book was it? Love in the Time of
Um,
Cholera.
the pleasure.
The Pleasure? Huh. Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds a little bit boring. Mm. Ken, what about you? Writing styles that you especially like or dislike?
Mm, In Japanese style, one of Japanese famous writers, his sometimes his plot was very interesting, but his stories has a lot of decoration on writing. So uh, he's a genius, but sometimes I cannot. I dislike that too much decoration. And talking about English style, as a non-native speaker, Hemingway's hard-boiled writing is easy to understand because since he was a newspaper reporter, he don't use so much adjectives, adverb. He just describes a simple kind of how can I say choice of words.
Okay, he didn't use too many adverbs or
Yes, and
adjectives.
adjectives like news reports do.
Hmm. A simple choice of words. Um, okay, yeah. His hard-boiled writing, that sounds like it's like directly from the back of a book describing Hemingway's writing. That's good. Um, since he was a newspaper reporter, he didn't use too many. Yeah, I think the Japanese author, what's the Japanese author's name?
Yukio Mishima.
Yukio Kishima. Okay. I'm not sure if I've read anything by him. I don't think so.
Yeah, some of his novels are very interesting, but some of novels I stopped reading it because of that.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
understandable. Um, all right. And I think we're good. Does anybody have any questions here? Okay. And for the next slide, I guess, what do you guys think? Paradoxes or quotations or a comic or a role play? And yeah, so any input would be greatly appreciated.
Quotation. Oh,
Quotations?
sorry.
No worries, that's good. So we've got one for quotations. Anna, what do you think?
Role play.
Okay, Ken, what do you think?
It's up to you, Joshua.
Oh,
Well,
man, no.
I'm for a quotation.
Okay,
Quotation would be
quotations.
nice.
Okay, let's look at this one. Anna, can you read the quotation?
All happy families are alike. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way.
Yeah. What do you think about this one?
And I think it's a great sentence to start a book.
A lot of people think it's a great sentence to start a book. Um, okay, yeah, it's a pretty famous one. Why is it a great sentence to start a book?
Because in so little words, there are so little words, and it contains an enormous, well, it's thought-provoking and
Contains an enormous what?
an enormous uh, context.
Context.
No, meaning. No, wisdom.
Okay, I like wisdom the best. There are so little words and it contains an enormous wisdom. Yeah. What is that wisdom, Juliet, though? Like, what do you think? What's this trying to say?
Well, if you,
Ooh.
well, at first it could seem like all people are different, but when you look closer, uh, it become clear that they all think alike. Well, it's one version of one meaning of that sentence. It could be like the exact opposite. So
Okay. Um, Juliet, though, what do you think here?
What do you mean with this act opposite? That there are many happiness, many type of happiness.
There are many types of happiness.
Mm. Oh, my question was for Anna, but mm,
Ah, okay. Yeah, can you ask that one more time? Can you ask the question one more time?
uh, are there many types of happiness? Types. Sorry.
Okay, no worries. Anna, what do so I think Judith was asking you that.
Well, the number of types is exactly equal to the number of people on Earth, I guess.
Equal to the number of people on Earth. Okay. Why do you ask Judith that?
Mm, just because uh, I was thinking about happiness or unhappiness. Mm. So I think yes, can be true that there are many types of unhappiness.
Hmm.
Mm.
I mean, if you think about that book that you didn't like,
Hmm.
the guy just waiting around,
Hmm.
the idea happiness is kind of boring, at least from an outside perspective.
Yeah.
And so in the boredom of that happiness, just like it is a family, it's a unit, and they're kind of happy together. They are very alike. They're alike in their like boringness. They're alike in their just
Yeah.
mundanity.
The edge of happiness is boringness.
Sorry?
The edge of happiness is boringness. No?
Edge?
Yeah. Mm.
Boringness. Yeah, maybe it could be. And each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way.
Mm.
Like, Ken, what do you think about that?
Yeah, kind of. Maybe people tend to think about happy family, clear image of stereotyped happy family image.
Uh-huh.
But maybe people tend to think more variety of unhappy family image, probably.
Okay, they're like that's a kind of an awkward. Can you try to rephrase that last part?
Okay. People tend to think there are a lot of different types of unhappy family.
Hmm. Good. That sounds better.
Mhm.
Unhappy plural
Yeah,
families.
families.
Good. Yeah. Do you agree, Anna? Do you agree that they're like all families that are happy are alike? Do you think that's correct? Or do you think we're misinterpreting?
I don't know. It sounds really strange. All happy families are like. I don't know what the meaning of it.
All right. What about you,
It could be
Julieta?
it could
Oh,
be
go ahead.
anything.
Uh, yeah. I mean, Julieta, what do you think? Do you think that all happy families are alike?
I think that from an outside observer, they can be
Huh?
alike.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be my interpretation. Ken, what do you think?
Yes, I think so. Maybe people on the surface, the family seems happy, but if you get inside the family, maybe most of the family has some trouble, a problem, unhappy, kind of elements. Yeah.
That's a really good point too. Um, they have an unhappy element. Do you think there's such thing as a happy family?
I think, as a whole, if how can I say? Maybe that's a life. We cannot live only a daylight. We need night to sleep or to think or to suffer. So as a whole, it's a family.
Okay, so as a whole, I didn't hear the last thing you said.
As a whole, it's a family or it's a life.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I think another thing that you kind of brought up is the like, is there such thing as a happy family? And, you know, if there is no such thing as a happy family, then they are all alike because they just don't exist. Um, I don't quite think he's going for that, but maybe. It's like a really interesting thing to think about. We are so out of time. I have another class right up after this. If you guys want to join, I'd love to have you. Thanks for coming in. Hopefully you had fun, enjoyed yourself, and learned something. Yeah, thanks again.